Player 2 has joined the game.
Hey, yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Two Player Co-op Podcast. As always, I'm one of your hosts here, Kevin, along with my brother from my mother, Sean.
How we doing?
Fantastic. If this is the first time you're seeing, hearing, or listening to us, this is the Two Player Co-op Podcast. We're just about every week, even if there's a natural disaster inside the house where the studio is housed, we get together to tell you everything you need to know about in the world of video games. Did it make sense? Because you gave me a look like it didn't.
That's just weird. The house, where the house is.
Where the studio is housed.
The
I
house
know. I just didn't know what else
the studio is housed.
Say. If you like what you see, God bless you. Leave a like, subscribe, share, all that fun stuff. If you listen to us on audio services around the multiverse, leave us a 5-star review and make Dustin Starr proud. Thank you so much. If you really like us, you can go to patreon.com/2playercoop, just like our producers, Steve Appleton, Aunt Sue, and Vernon Slayton did, as well as our affiliate, the homie joining us live in the chat, James Solar. We do need to get you back on the podcast. Let's get that set up.
That is correct.
That is correct. If you like cool shirts and other merch items, you can go to teespring.com/stores/2playercoop. That was weird.
I'm trying to... I gotta come up with something new.
You've been doing this
It's
for like
been magic
200
fingers for like a year or
way
years.
more than that.
Yeah.
Way more than that. I'm gonna roll my pants up. It is warm up here. I'm feeling a little hot.
Hot.
Not gathy, luckily for Sean. So every week I come on here and I tell you to wear your woohoo mask. And for the first time it hit home for me. We do the Mario Wahoo and everything just because I don't want to swear on the podcast, but it's serious, and I hope you guys know I've always taken that seriously, and Sean has too. But this weekend it hit home for me for the first time. Somebody I used to work with back in my days at AT&T died of COVID a day or two after her father died. She was in her early 50s. So, like I tweeted over the weekend, if anybody out there is still thinking this is made up or a joke or whatever, it's not. People are dying. Hundreds of thousands of people are dying. Yes, vaccines are slowly coming out, but the only way we get through this is if we all do our part and wear our freaking masks. So do it. Period. I would say happier things to talk about, except I want to talk about my weekend, because if you follow me on Twitter or the channel on Twitter, you'll notice that I said we didn't know if we were going to be able to podcast this week. James Solar's watching live. Thank you for being our affiliate. I didn't know we were going to be able to podcast because, first off, we had a new dishwasher get delivered on Friday. And apparently when you buy direct from KitchenAid, Whirlpool, whatever, LG, whatever, they don't necessarily install it. And then they tell me that, well, in Tennessee, you have to be a quote-unquote licensed plumber to install a dishwasher. I said, fine, drop it off, whatever. Okay. And they were trying to leave, and I was like, y'all are taking the old one, right? And they're like, well, yeah, I mean, you got to unhook it. And I was like, well, I unplugged it, and I did the drain hose, but I didn't do the water hose. I was like, oh, crap, let me get that. So I go to turn the water off. In our pantry in the kitchen is where our shutoff valve is for the whole house. Turn it off, the water's not stopping, and it's kind of leaking, but I'm like, whatever, I got to figure this out. I had started to unhook the feed line from where the hot water is under the sink, and after I realized the water wasn't stopping, I was like, crap, they're just going to have to leave it, I'll figure it out, whatever. They left, and then I go to tighten it, but instead of tightening it, it falls off. And then I have scalding hot water shooting out 100 miles an hour under my sink, all over the kitchen. And I literally just started crying because it was like, it's the most I've cried, not related to a death, in my life, I think, because it was so helpless. I was like, I don't have the tool to go out there and shut the water off at the street. I don't know how I'm going to do this. The issue was that our hot water shut off, you might just be like, Kevin, why didn't you turn the hot water off under the sink? Well, I'll tell you why. Because our hot water shut off is right up against the drain pipe for the sink. So it doesn't move. Like you turn it like half a turn, and it's like, I'm stuck. So I'm holding this hose, hot water spraying all over my hand, trying to hook this thing back in, but the pressure coming out is so much that I cannot get it to even start to thread. I finally Hulk smashed, or what I explained to Dad and to some of my buddies was, it's like when a grandma sees a kid under a car and they can lift a car. So I Hulk smashed and I lifted the pipes up off of the hot water shutoff, just enough to turn it 3 or 4 times and get the hot water to stop. Then I looked around, and there's just water everywhere in the kitchen. Everywhere. I'm like, well, I can no longer wait because now we don't have hot water. I have to install this thing. Long story short, I installed it. Hooray me. I didn't think I could do it. I did it. Never turned the water back on because I was like, it never really stopped, so I don't need to turn it back on. Went to bed. Saturday morning, I wake up. I'm like, I should probably turn the water back on. So I go to turn it back on, and I turn it all the way on. What used to happen is there would be a little leak, but it would stop if I got it all the way off or all the way on. I got it all the way on, and it didn't stop leaking. Then I tried to turn it all the way off, and it didn't stop leaking. And the leak became much more than a leak. And if you saw the videos, if you didn't see them, just go to Twitter.
You look like you were on like a submarine that sprung a leak.
Exactly. Exactly. Like it just, but it's not even just going down. By the time yesterday or this morning rolled around, so I had to deal with that all Saturday, all Sunday. Water everywhere. I had to turn the water off at the street, so we had no water in the house. So can't wash clothes, can't use the dishwasher, can't do anything related to water, can't flush the toilet. Well, you can flush the toilet once, but I got 6 people in this house. If you poop, it's bad news. You can't shower. So what I ended up having to do was Saturday we went over to our parents' house for dinner just to give us a break. Sunday rolls around and Jess is like, these kids got to shower. I got to shower. You got to shower. I'm like, yeah, okay, fine. So I turn the water on with a bucket underneath it. And I've got a 3-gallon bucket that is filling up in literally, I timed it, just under 5 minutes. Since we were doing it anyways, Jess was going to shower, the boys were going to shower, and then I would eventually shower. That's a funny story, too. I'm like, I might as well run the dishwasher. I'll do it on the express wash. It'll take 45 minutes or whatever. I dumped out this bucket so many damn times. I cannot wait to see what our water bill is for this month. We got through it. Yeah, when I went to shower, Jess is like, I can't pick up that bucket because it's full of water. It's 3 gallons of water. That's a lot. I'm like, you could. You don't want to, but okay, fine. So I was like, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go into the bathroom. I'm going to turn the water on hot. I'm going to make sure everything's ready. I'm going to get down to my skivvy. So all I got is my boxers on, so I can just dump the water, put it back, literally ran to the shower, took the quickest shower I've ever done, got out, toweled off a little bit, ran back out, dumped the water, put it back, ran back, got dry, lotion, put some clothes on. I probably got like half clean, but it was better than nothing. Go back out, turn the water off at the street, and then we left it until this morning, and then Noah's like, Dad, I'm going to school. I'm 13 years old. I need a shower. I'm like, okay, great. So did it all again this morning. Every time I turn the water back on at the street, it's leaking even more. We had somebody come out Saturday to give an estimate. Super shady company, which I will not mention their name here. But they said it could be as bad as $4,000, but we don't really know until we do it. Like, well, that's weird because I can get this whole house replumbed because of the whole stupid Collierville copper pipes. I can get the whole house replumbed. I've already gotten an estimate for that, somewhere around $9,000 to $10,000. And this one valve is going to, because all the pipes are close together, it's going to be $4,000. That's weird. Jess calls 2 more plumbers. They both come at the same time, which was, well, that's what she said. It was super awkward, but they both agreed around $500. And then Jess was like, well, this other company told us $4,000. They were both like, what the hell? No, who? And then once we told them, they were like, oh, I'm not going to talk bad about another company, but we've heard that a lot. You know who it is.
Yeah.
So plumber comes out today with another plumber. 4 hours later, they get it fixed for $500 compared to $4,000. I now have water. Sean saw the Frankenstein monster that is now in my kitchen pantry. But it works and there's no leak.
Okay, so explain what I saw down there.
So
what's with all the little plastic segments? It looks like cut this section out, plastic. Cut this section out, plastic.
So there's this is riveting on a video game podcast. I know we've got timestamps. If you don't want to hear us BS, go ahead.
It's Mario. He's a plumber.
It's me. Wahoo! You got the pipe coming out of the foundation, which is the cold water that brings water to your house. You had 4 pipes bunched together, like almost right next to each other. So the pipe comes up. There's the shutoff valve, but this isn't like a valve where you can like unscrew the top, unscrew the bottom, and take it out. There's the valve there, and it's all like soldered together, and there's an arm coming off that goes down to send cold water to somewhere in the house. There's also 2 hot water pipes that are right there, and they're literally like 4 copper pipes in a space about this big. I think that's why that one company was trying to tell me it was going to be so expensive. But basically, they had to turn it into Frankenstein so that they could cut through the stuff, put it back together, and just like, okay, let's just route it over this way a little bit, put the new valve here, and just route everything where it's supposed to go so it's not all cramped together. But, yeah.
Wow. Well, 500 is not... It's not nothing, but compared to
PS5.
4,000...
Yeah. And then, because my weekend couldn't get any worse, Tom Brady's going to the Super Bowl, and the Bills got blown out. So I was like, I want this weekend to end as quickly as possible.
I mean, at least this way, if it was Rodgers, if it was the Bills, I'm rooting for the Bills. If it was Rodgers and Mahomes, like I figured it would be, I'd be like, well, this will be a fun game, but I don't really care.
I probably would have rooted for Rodgers, just at one more run.
I figure if it was either Bills or Brady, at least now I have a vested interest in it.
Yeah.
And one of them happened, so I'm all in on the Chiefs. But yeah.
The funny thing is, I was when I was talking to Dad this week leading up to the game, I was like, I almost think I might root for Brady because I've realized this year I hate Belichick way more than
mind
Brady.
Brady the person. Like, I think he's actually a very good guy.
Yeah.
But I'm so sick. I'm so sick of hearing about him.
No, I am too. But then the game happened, and then everything happened in the game, and then the Packers coach is an idiot. Sorry, Nick. Not Shitfanny. Nick on Twitter, Young Roshi. He's a Green Bay fan. Should have gone for it on fourth down. Rodgers should have run it in on third down. It just made no sense. It was completely stupid. It made me mad. And then for the first time all game, granted, yes, it was pass interference. However, stuff just as bad or worse than that on both sides had happened all game. Dad, I was talking to Dad for like 45 minutes about this today when I picked up Eliza. I was like, I got to go. I've actually got water at the house. I got to go. It's just so frustrating. But now I'm like, it's funny that I ever thought I might root for Brady against Mahomes. I hope the Chiefs blow them
I thought they
out.
did blow them out. But when I look back, they only beat him 27-24.
Was that what it was? I knew they won, but at this point...
That was the game where Tyreek went for like 203 touchdowns in the first quarter or something. And then they just didn't do anything the rest of the game, and Brady had a couple late touchdowns to make it close. But
it should be a good game. That Tampa Bay defense is no joke. And if they can get to Mahomes the way they were getting to Rodgers, then who knows? But
I don't think they will.
But now they lost their left tackle to a friggin' Achilles.
Well, yeah.
I swear, if this dude wins number 7 or 8, what the hell would it be? 7? My buddy Chad sent me a stat that Brady has made the Super Bowl in 47% of his seasons, and Steph Curry's lifetime 3-point percentage is like 43%. So if Steph were to take a 3 or Brady were to take a season, it's more likely that Brady will make the Super Bowl. And I just gave him thumbs down. I was like, I don't care. Shut up. It's the stupidest stat in the world because he takes,
but holy crap,
200 threes a year, 300, whatever it is. Yeah.
And you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Wayne Gretzky.
Michael Scott.
There you go.
I saw one that was like NFC Championships. Tom Brady, 1. Aaron Rodgers, 1. Drew Brees, 1. Number of seasons in the NFC, Tom Brady, 1. Aaron Rodgers,
17,
15, whatever. Drew Brees, 19, whatever it's been. But I'm like, whatever.
And he's not going anywhere.
No,
he's obviously not retiring.
He's going to play at least 2 more years, I'm sure. Whatever.
Go Kansas City.
Yep.
Go Patrick Mahomes. In shocking news, the Uncharted movie has been delayed again.
Yep.
From July until February 2022. That's a big old... That's 8 months.
It is, but why did anybody... There was literally no chance of that coming out in July.
Somebody said this on Twitter, and I don't know who it was at this point, but I remember seeing it. I was like, you're right. I was like, do we actually know that they filmed this movie? We've seen picture.
I don't believe. I'm sure they've started.
We've seen
I don't believe it's filmed.
Supposedly it is filmed and done.
Yeah,
We've seen one picture of Tom Holland as Drake going. We haven't seen Marky Mark as Sully. We've seen nothing else other than promotional stuff with nobody in it. We don't really know that they've actually filmed this movie. I just want to throw that out there.
Yeah.
I still want to see it whenever it comes out. But I saw my time hop the other day, how happy I was taking the kids to Sonic, and now I'm like, oh, yeah, that's coming out next year, too.
Oh, the movie? Oh. I thought you meant the restaurant. Like,
no.
I mean, you can... There's a couple
I
right
don't
in
have to
town.
wait
You can
till
go
next
whenever
year.
you want.
You want to talk any about WandaVision? You care?
Third episode was good. You can see I'm starting to get a feel for what's happening. I don't know. I don't know if you would know. Have they said how many episodes there are?
Oh.
Is it 8 or 10?
I think it's 10. I think it got a good bit. Yeah.
It's good. It's just very well done. Like, I don't know. Even though I have no idea what's going on, it's just very
It feels
well
like
done.
the MCU, even the
No, it
weird
doesn't.
sitcom. Oh, okay.
Well, it does at
production-wise,
points.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's, spare no expense. Like, they went all in to really make it.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying it. I have no idea what's happening, but I'm enjoying it. And I'm curious to see what this becomes in the future. But, yep.
Speaking of streaming, James Solar wrote in, just like you can if you go to our Twitter profile and go to the pinned tweet at the top of our profile for a Google Doc link. James Solar wrote in and says, "Hey guys, recently on Sacred Symbols, they've been discussing whether they use the streaming apps on their console or the ones on their smart TV. Which do you generally use and why is it superior? I won't say which one I prefer, but I find it truly baffling that some people don't prefer my method. The one and only James Solar."
I use everything on my TV just for like the native unencumbered 4K. The only thing, which I don't understand why, maybe it's just still too new. So I've got, the LG whatever OLED thing. There's no HBO Max app native to the TV. I don't know why. That's the only thing I stream on the PS5. One other thing that's weird, and I Googled it. I'm not the only one. People have had this. Remember?
The
remember
Netflix stuff or something where the people's voices weren't there?
It was HBO Max, yeah, because
okay.
that's the only thing I use on the PS5. But it was similar but different to the thing with Spider-Man when there was So I always saw people talking about the Harley Quinn. I'm like, I'll watch an episode. I play it. There's just no sound. I'd played something else and there was sound. And then I played that and then there was no sound. I'm like, let me try something else. I played something else. There was sound. So it's weird. Something with Harley Quinn, and it's something. And I'm sure that's not the only show. But Harley Quinn, I had no audio on my PS5. I streamed it on my phone, AirPlayed it, and it was fine. But I couldn't just watch it on the PS5. So I'm like, just give me the HBO Max app on my TV so I can just do everything through that.
So somebody wrote in on Sacred Symbols. This isn't live yet. Well, by the time this goes live, it'll be live. Well, no, it's live today. Whatever. I'm saying I'm a patron, so I heard it before some of y'all, so you're freeloaders. Somebody wrote in saying the NHL app didn't work. And Colin's like, no, I know it works because I watched the NHL app on my PS5. And what Chris was thinking is the same way it's so confusing to know if you're playing a PS4 game or a PS5 game, it might be that you've actually transferred your data. You got the PS4 version of the NHL app, and therefore it's not really compatible. Yeah. Like NHL TV, MLB, they've all got apps. NBA TV.
No, but I mean, they've still got, it's not just games that have PS4 and PS5.
Well, he didn't know. He was just theorizing, and I'm guessing on this next week they'll talk about it more because somebody will write into Sacred Symbols and they will say, well, actually. But, James, I do the same thing. I use the TV, and I'm guessing you're probably going to say you use the console because now I'm starting to doubt myself. I'm like, it's so much easier to just... Now, the Samsung remote is not the best because it's just the circle, and then there's not a lot of buttons on there. But I know I just hit home, go over to Netflix or Vudu to watch The Office or Disney Plus to watch Doc McStuffins or whatever. I just go over there, I click it, done. Everything's going through my soundbar either way, so I don't care. But everybody that was been writing into Sacred Symbols is like, no, you have to use the apps on your console. It's so much easier to navigate with a D-pad and buttons to search and do all this other stuff. And I'm like, I don't even have Netflix or anything installed on my PS5 because I've always just been like, they're here on my TV. Why go through the trouble of turning on the PS5? I don't know. But now I'm starting to think that I'm wrong, and maybe I should download them and try using it.
I just feel I don't have any problem navigating, and I just think if I can have, say, Netflix come from Netflix via internet to my TV, that makes a lot more sense than Netflix via internet to my PlayStation and then onto the TV. Right. You're just adding one extra stop. I don't know why I would do it that way.
Yeah. But now I'm starting to think, because like I tweeted, a couple weeks ago, whatever, when I got my Pulse headset, and I was like, now my accessory collection is complete. I don't need the media remote. But now I'm like, you are making me think I need to get the media remote and use my PS5. But I don't. It's just one more thing to lose, or the dog to chew, or something.
One thing I don't like, kind of along those lines, and I don't know if it's my PlayStation or my TV. If I'm playing PlayStation, and then I'm like, all right, I'm done. Turn it off. Turn the TV off. Mm-hmm. If I turn the TV back on because it's still set to the PS5 input, it turns the PS5 on. And if I just want to watch TV, I'm like, I'll change the input real quick. No, change it to DirecTV. PlayStation's still booting up. Then once it actually boots up, it's like, nope. Kicks me back to the PS5 app. I need to change it back to DirecTV again. It drives me nuts. Brittany hates it. I'm like, I'm sorry. She's like, when you're done playing PlayStation, can you change the input back to DirecTV before you turn it off? I'm like, no, I'm not going to remember to do that, but it bothers me too. And I don't know if it's a PlayStation thing or my TV, but
it was doing it for me on my Samsung TV, but now I'm trying to remember how I fixed it. Because basically I think it might have been in my TV settings that I had like Samsung's thing is any net or whatever. Something
I like it the other way. I like being able to grab my controller, turn it on,
yeah,
which turns the PlayStation on, which turns the TV on. But just because I turned the TV on, if I turn the PlayStation on, I obviously want the TV on. If I want the TV on, I don't necessarily want the PlayStation on.
If I'm trying to watch the NFC Championship, I don't need my PlayStation to turn on.
Right.
But I think I fixed it in my TV settings. I don't think it was on the PS5. So there's some kind of setting in your LG that's something like Samsung's AnyNet thing. You can probably Google it and just say, LG turns on my PlayStation, and then they'll tell you what to do.
Yeah.
But I had to turn that off because that was annoying too.
Yeah, it drives me nuts.
James Solar says, I've never used any of the apps on PS5, but the Xbox apps are far superior to the ones built in on my TV. But I was using my Xbox before I had a smart TV, so it might just be habit. There you go.
I think it also depends a lot on the TV. Because my old TV, it was smart, but it wasn't.
Like Mom's TV in the kitchen. That thing sucks, trying to get to apps on that thing. It's horrible.
I don't even like Dad's TV.
But that's how mine is.
Well, yes.
But
you're probably used to it.
Up,
but, like, I think the LG thing is, like, perfect. To me, it's easy to navigate. I never use it, but it's got the, hit the microphone and talk into it. Yeah. But, like, I think the apps are great on that TV. Like, it's a whole operating system thing. And I know most TVs nowadays probably are, but, like, my old TV, I didn't really use the native apps hardly ever. But now on my new TV, I pretty much do it exclusively.
Console exclusive to the TV. So that's our answer. I'm completely doubting myself. Maybe I should download them on my PS5 and just mess around with them. But there's a game coming out tomorrow that I want to play called Cyber Shadow. Well, yesterday or in the past at some point as you're watching this if you're not a patron. So I'll just be playing that in the very near future. Sean, what have you played this week that you can talk about? Stay tuned. We may have...
You reminded me of D'Angelo when he's like, we gotta get him to the Dundies. I've played a lot.
Really?
I will go back and start.
Well, let me give a little tease first. So we are working on a video, and we're going to record some of it. Not the video. Don't worry about it. You'll see. There may be an embargo breaking next Monday for a huge game. It's not, but it's one we're very excited about. We're going to do our first full... A lot of times when we do reviews on here, it's always just been part of the podcast. We talk about it. We give our thoughts and everything. But for this one, I'm like, we've got time. We've both beaten said game. Don't you worry about what it is. We want to do a full like video like if you ever think of like somebody like IGN or GameSpot, the way they do their video reviews, we wanted to take a crack at it. So going live next Monday at I think the embargo's up at noon Eastern. That video will go live unless I completely screw up the editing and can't figure everything out. But we got a plan, we got a script, and I'm really looking forward to it. So when that goes live, please share it, spread the word. It's going to be a lot of work, I think, for a video that probably won't even be 10 minutes long based on our script. But But I'm excited for it. Hopefully it comes out well, so just be on the lookout for that. Thank you to someone we will mention next week for giving us the codes. Sean, what have you played this week?
I have played...
James, I cannot confirm nor deny. Don't you worry about that. But the game is out next week, is all I will say. None of y'all can see the chat because you're freeloaders or whatever.
And
you're not an affiliate, and we love you for it. But, James, I cannot confirm nor deny.
So I have gotten 4 platinums since we last spoke.
I was going to say, when you said number 23, I was like, okay, I know what one of them is that we can't talk about, but...
I platinumed Ghost.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
I forgot about Ghost.
Yep. I loved it. It was a lot of fun. It ended up being a little... Remember how before I said, I thought you were going to have to just do everything, and you don't. You don't, but you have to do more than I realized, just because of the way some of the things were worded when I was reading the trophies before I really understood what it meant. I don't know. I got confused. You have to do a good amount. But I got the platinum. It wasn't really that bad. Like, towards the end, I did start to tire of the combat a little bit, and I'd like be riding on my horse, and I'm like, I get the little alert like somebody sees me. I'm like, I don't care.
I'm just gonna keep going.
I'm like, I'm
Y'all
trying
can't
to
catch up to me.
Avoid combat at this point. I'm like, I really just need to finish this game. So I platinumed that literally 5 minutes after.
That's right. I did know you got it. Yeah.
I platinumed Road Bustle, I think it's called. I don't know.
I am so happy that you have come to the dark side.
It's basically, it's like Frogger, except it's like a never-ending, it seems like it's never-ending Frogger. It's just like roads and railroads and whatever, and you just
How did you do it in 5 minutes, though?
Because it's literally just get this many points, which basically means run this far.
Hit. Okay.
Yeah. And I died once. I probably could have gotten 10 seconds quicker if I didn't die the one time.
How much was this? 5 or 1?
1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm not paying. Well, I'm not to the point where I'm willing to pay more than $1 for.
Hey, you can go get Foxyland when it's on sale.
One
for like
game I do want
$2.49.
to play, just because all of a sudden everybody's talking about it, but I'm waiting for it to go on sale. Donut County.
Yes, I told you about this.
No, I know.
Good.
But I think it's like $10. I'm like, I'll pay.
It's worth it. I think
Really?
I got it. I think it was normally $20. I think I bought it on sale for $7.50 or $10, and then I just played it like a year later.
Really?
It's worth it. It's so funny. It's so stupid, but it's so much fun. Relatively easy platinum. There's a couple things that trip you up a little bit, but they're not that bad. And I think I got the platinum in like 3 hours, if I remember right. So much
Yeah,
fun.
and it's a game that I know I can get the platinum on, but it's also a game that
James says y'all are the worst.
It just seems
Don't
fun.
you judge us. It is fun. That's a legit platinum, by the way, James Solar and anybody else who might want to talk some smack.
So that was 20, 21. 22 was redacted. Then 23 2 days ago. Maybe yesterday.
What was that thing called? Bustle Road?
Road Bustle. Or
whatever. I'm not changing it.
Then my last platinum was Habroxia.
Mm-hmm.
That game was fun. Your typical retro style shoot 'em up, Gradius type of game. Little Emo Games, so the ones that did
Twin Breaker.
Twin Breaker, thank you.
Perils of Baking. It's supposed to be a relatively easy. James Solar, by the way, you got the platinum in Perils of Baking, so you can't talk to us. It's not as easy as Road Bustle or Bustle Road, whatever the hell it was called.
Road Bustle.
But I don't care.
I don't care. But yeah, so Habroxia. He offered to give me his Vita so I can get it on that one. I might. I don't know. It's literally like start to finish. I did it in 2 hours.
I can't even sign into the PSN because there might be another game that I want to play on. Damn it. That I want to play on there and maybe get another platinum. There is something going on. I've been reading because ever since Sony did the 2-factor authentication, people have issues signing into PS, and mine's been dead in a drawer for months. Mm-hmm. Charged it, go to sign into the PlayStation Network, it won't let me. It says, well, then I read because you've got 2-factor authentication, you need to go to your Sony account, not on the PlayStation app, but your actual SonyEntertainment.com, whatever. Log in, go to security, go to get an authorization code to log in or something like that. I do that. It still won't let me sign in. So then I research more, and people are like, sometimes it's your DNS. You might have to wipe the Vita and start over, or you can maybe just switch Wi-Fi networks. By that point, I was like, I'll deal with it tomorrow. So let me figure that out first, and then you can borrow it to get 2 more platinums. 2
more? Oh, is the other one also?
Oh, yeah, it's on everything.
Oh, I don't know if I can do that one again.
That one trophy, that one trophy will be hard on a screen that small. The rest of it I could do.
Yeah. It depends on how well it controls. Like with the little stick, I don't know if I'm going to be able to move the way I need to.
Well, I'll let you know, because I'm going to go for it.
Yeah.
That'll be number 60 for me if I get it.
Oh, wow. But yeah, I think that's it that we can talk about.
James Solar, you little sneaky sneak. Don't
What?
you look at my trophies. I was thinking, are we supposed to hide them? But then I was like, I go to the game, because there's some way, but I think
I
you
don't
just
think
have
we
to
need
go
to hide it.
offline.
If people find out, they find out.
There's some way to hide, but I think the only way to hide trophies is you just have to play the game offline. Like sign out of download it, sign out of your PSN, play the game, get all the trophies. Then when it, whatever. I don't think anybody cares.
I'm curious to see. I'm sure there's plenty of people that got the platinum day one.
You definitely got. There's
got
no
it
way I make
day
the leaderboard.
2.
You might.
I might. Yeah, I'm curious to see.
I just wonder how many people got it for review.
Yeah, I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
But I don't think I've played. Oh, well, we'll talk about that later. I played a demo.
Oh yeah, we'll
of
talk
something,
about that later,
but we'll talk about that later. That's it.
All I've played other than a demo is something I cannot talk about.
Nailed it. Okay.
But oh man, I'm so happy. So Cyber Shadow, as we're recording this Monday night. By the way, if this goes up a day late, just like I was explaining, I had a weekend, so don't hold it against us. It's not Sean's fault. It's my fault. It's God's fault. I don't know. Sorry. Don't get ahead of me. Thor, God of Thor comes in. The hell was I gonna say?
Cyber Shadow.
Cyber Shadow. It's right around an 80 on Metacritic or OpenCritic, whatever it was. I can't remember which one had more reviews earlier today. It's right around an 80, which is what I expect. And
I wouldn't expect it to be any higher than that, so that's perfect.
What I've heard some people say is that it like reminds them of Ninja Gaiden and stuff, but it does have some good what's it called? Something of life changes. Quality of life changes and stuff. That there are some parts that are ridiculously hard, but it's all worth it. So
if it doesn't have the
excited.
stupid high difficulty knockback every time you take damage stuff that Ninja Gaiden does, then I'm fine.
Yeah, if it plays like The Messenger, I'm good. Yeah. I don't know that I'm going to get the platinum because we looked at the trophies. It's like
some of them look pretty, like beat this boss without getting hit and beat this level. Like I'm just like, not knowing anything about the game, it's hard to say, but looking at the trophies, it's like ugh.
There was something for every, like beat every boss on hard or something. There was something like beat this boss on hard, beat this boss on hard. So if you beat the game on hard, which I'm guessing you have to play through it first to unlock hard mode, and I don't know if there's New Game Plus, you can carry over whatever you level up. I don't know, but I'm so excited to play it, whether I get the platinum or not. I'm so happy to finally start that tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I haven't played anything else. Well, I mean, I have. I just can't talk about it. Because we are very important YouTubers, and we are under embargo. James Solar, trying to out me. Sean.
Yes.
Would you like to get to the news of the week?
Yes.
All right, Sean. This past week, Capcom held a Resident Evil showcase.
Resident Evil.
I'm starting to think, now wait a minute. 9 is IX, right? Right?
Yes.
It's not VIIIII. I do think they're going to do Resident Evil Exodus. They were talking about this on GameScoop, and they're like, somebody's like, I don't know how they do 9. I'm like, it's IX. Exodus, you just highlight the side of the E and the X, and then that's 9, Resident Evil Exodus. I don't know what the story will be. I don't know that this really has anything to do with the village. They just wanted the VIII. So
it's like Resident Evil Castle.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's put a village outside so we can call it Village.
You got to walk through Village for 5 minutes. We'll call it Village. It's fine. Just call it Resident Evil 8. But it was announced, well, first off, all the rumors were saying that it was coming in April. It's actually out May 7th. And depending on how you feel, unfortunately or fortunately, it is coming to last-gen consoles as well. nobody really knew. There were rumors if it was going to come to PS4 and Xbone.
Thank you, by
it
the
is.
way, for saying last gen.
It's tough because we're still like in this mindset. Yeah, it's fine.
It can't be next gen if it's already here, though.
I know.
That's this gen.
I know.
That's like saying next week is this week.
This a week. I need a haircut. I got these little things back.
I hate those.
God, I need a haircut.
Yeah.
It's been like 2 months. But it's out May 7th, current gen and last gen. If you get it on last gen, you do get a free upgrade to the PS5 or Xbox Series X version. There's really no need to do that unless you don't have a console now. Because it's the same. It's a $60 game no matter what you
I
buy.
saw that. I was kind of shocked.
Yeah. I think I'm going to get the deluxe. Because it comes with like just some little like accoutrements for the save rooms and stuff. But then it comes with some kind of healing pack or something. I'm like, I was thinking this game was going to be $70 anyways. I may just pay the extra $10 and just do the deluxe.
Deluxe is 70.
Yeah.
I'd have to look at what it comes with, but maybe.
So we got a gameplay demo. We got a new trailer. Everybody is just ridiculous when it comes to this Lady Dimitrescu. Did I get Dimitrescu? I think
Something like that.
y'all gotta chill. y'all gotta chill. She's 50 because at first when pictures were coming out, everybody was like, "Oh, she's hot," whatever. But then it was also like, "Wait a minute." Is she like super tall? Because you see these people standing around her. Maybe it's the camera angle, whatever. No, you see this chick duck through a door. And I don't mean duck like Shaquille O'Neal ducks through a door. This lady has to bend. She's got to be 15 feet tall. There's a part in the trailer where she bends down, unless she is going through like a little half door or something.
Yeah.
She's got to be 12, 15 feet tall.
Maybe.
So we see that. We see a little bit more of the story. Everybody's like, Ethan Winters, I know you. Why does I am so interested in the story of this game. Because why?
They better have something in mind and aren't just like, we'll figure it out in 9. We'll just retcon everything so it all makes sense. Like, I hope this, I don't know.
Yeah.
It reminds me, even though I never watched it, it reminds me of what everybody said about Lost. That they had no idea what they were doing. They were just going for it. And then at the end, they're like, well, crap, we got to try to make it all make sense now. I hope it's not that.
Yeah. They're making it seem like Ethan, like the whole world knows who Ethan is because he survived 7. By the way, there's rumors that there's going to be a PS5 upgrade for 7 before this comes out. So now I'm like, I want to go back and play it. But now kind of like Bloodborne, I'm like, no, I'll just wait and see. But this is the 25th anniversary of Resident Evil. So we'll see. Guarding looks like it's going to be a bit. We didn't get a lot of gameplay. We saw some of it. Guarding appears. This seems like it's going to be a lot more action focused. There's all these allusions to RE4. One of them being this seems like it's going to be a lot more action heavy than 7 was. I really don't, except for the last bit when you're going underground stuff in 7. I don't remember a lot of the enemies and stuff. I can remember the boss fights.
It was just the molded. That's it.
But were they before you get down into the caves and stuff, were they there also?
You see him for the first time when you go down into like
down,
the basement of the house or whatever. But yeah, I thought that was the weakest part of 7. I'm like, these enemies suck. It's literally just like this, like piles of like, I don't know.
We're gonna be fighting werewolves, 10-foot tall. Where everybody in this game is huge. I don't get it. But then also they show the inventory system, which is essentially Resident Evil 4's briefcase.
Which is perfect.
Yeah. So that's interesting. We're in the village. People are saying they think it takes place in Romania. RE4 was Spain, right?
I think so.
What were they called? Los
Ganados.
Ganados, not Illuminados. That's the Illuminati. They showed the merchant in the game who is known as the Duke. That's a big old boy.
He's a big dude.
I don't think he's going to say, got some things for sale, stranger.
Got some real nice things, stranger.
That makes me want to play 4. We'll talk about 4 here in a second. They also announced Reverse, or however you say this, RE:verse, which is a multiplayer game that will be free. I guess it's not part of Village, but it will be out at the same time, whatever. It's free. I'm not going to play it. You can play as anybody in Resident Evil history, including Jack Baker, it looks like, and Leon and Claire, and you just kill each other.
And Tyrant and Nemesis. And
Well, that's what I'm wondering. So is Lady Dimitrescu... I'll figure it out when the game comes out. Is she the Tyrant? Is she Mr. X? And if she is, I hope she's a lot more like Mr. X than she is Nemesis.
Maybe.
Like, I wonder if she's stalking you this whole time. I don't know. Or it could just be sections like in 7 with the old lady walking around. You got to avoid her.
God.
Yeah. And then when you fight her, that's a fun boss fight. Grossest thing I've ever seen. But they also announced a PS5 exclusive demo out then, which is out now, obviously. You know what I mean. We both played it. Sean, what did you think of the Maiden demo?
It was good. I'm already convinced. I feel like this, and not to say they didn't do it in 7, but I feel like in this, they're like, let's go out of our way to make this scary.
Yeah.
7 just felt naturally, and I'm sure it was all crafted, but like 7, that'll never be topped. This game may be just as good as 7, if not better. I don't really expect it to be, but I'm hopeful. It's not going to be as scary and off-putting as 7. I don't know that anything ever will be.
7 was so grounded for the ridiculousness of it, especially when you get towards the end, but just you're investigating this cabin in the woods, basically, in Louisiana, trying to find your wife, and you don't have zombies everywhere. I mean, eventually you get the molded and stuff, but like, you've just got this family, welcome to the family, and then you wake up, and then they've cut your hand off, or no, you get your hand cut off, they sew it back on, they put on your life bracelet thing, life alert, and yeah, it was just so... like I said, as ridiculous as it was grounded in reality, and that was just so off-putting.
Yeah. But I liked it. I'm kind of glad. It was very similar to the 7 demo in that there was just no combat. You're just kind of walking around.
By the way, spoilers for a demo, if you care.
Yeah, if we're going to go spoilers.
Yeah. No, talk about the whole thing. It's 15, 20 minutes long.
I don't know if this was done on purpose or if it's just bad design. The footsteps kept scaring the crap out of me.
Your footsteps.
And it's mine.
Yes, me
but
too.
Like, I feel like I would stop and I'd hear click, click. I'm like, I stopped moving already. What is with these footsteps? But then they just stop until you start moving again.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know if this is part of the design or if it's still just in development. But like, there'd be times where I'm just like, literally just moving the right stick, like turning. It's like, clap, 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 clap.
Right. If I just
clap,
turn,
clap, clap. I'm like, I'm not moving.
If I turn all the way around, I get it. You have to move your feet to do that. But if you're just looking, it should not go cluck, cluck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my own footsteps were scaring the crap out of me. I assume they were mine. Maybe
they were.
Maybe that was the choice. There was a couple times where I would just like jump and stuff.
When the thing falls
down in the dungeon where you start, when
then
she's like,
lady,
I'm watching you or whatever.
Oh, I didn't hear it down there. I didn't hear it.
No, I'm saying
upstairs.
once you're up in the house, when you hear like
yeah.
And then when you see the one, not one of her little, I don't know,
when she's like
disciples,
walking up the
whatever. I don't remember.
When I got the sister, when I got the ring, and I was like, okay, this is probably how I open that thing upstairs. I got the ring. I was like, okay, I walked back out, and I saw her going up the stairs, and I was just like,
oh, I do. That must have been it. I do remember seeing like a flash of something real quick. I was like,
but then I went up there, and she was going, because I was like, I can't fight, so I'm probably not going to die.
But when you see her down in like the main area, and like she was like walking to you, and then she like all the like the bugs and stuff.
Oh, I didn't see her. I did not see her. When I went to the door, though, she says, I'm watching you. And I was like, I froze.
I froze.
And I was like, okay.
What is happening?
And I was finally like, I got a key. I know I'm going for that door. I'm going to run for it. So I never saw her. And as I ran through the living room or whatever, when I got to the door, all of a sudden all the moths or whatever were like, and I was like, then she comes out with this big old scythe or whatever. And I was like,
oh, God.
Did you get stabbed?
I can't remember if I did.
I did, but I was like, oh, I'm not dead. No, I'm going to run.
Yeah.
And then I ran in there and I did the key and then.
Yeah. I don't know. This game's going to be good.
Yeah.
But there's no way it touches 7. I don't think.
I still say, so my favorite Resident Evil is 2 Remake, followed by 7, followed by 4. So I do wonder where this is going to end up. So a couple things on the demo. They did say it is not part of the main game. It takes place at a different time from Ethan's story. I think this takes place like hundreds of years ago, is what I think. Because there's no technology in there that I can think of. All the lights are candles.
Yeah.
I don't even remember seeing like a phone or anything. And I'm thinking that they're vampires. They're going to live forever. I think they've been in this castle forever.
Yeah.
Because you get the notes about the wine and stuff, and I'm like, oh, they make it thick because they put blood in it. That's disgusting. But I don't think there was any dates or anything. Like, there's a date. When you find a note that somebody else that was a maiden there has written, I think it says like June 30th, but it doesn't say the year, I'm pretty sure. I think this takes place forever ago, is my guess.
You're probably right.
They said there will be some references to the demo in the full game. It does have ray tracing and 3D audio. One thing I noticed that was weird, when I went into the settings, I couldn't turn HDR was just off.
Oh, really? Mine was on.
What the heck is wrong?
But I feel like it was super duper dark. Like when I was up,
I always turn
when I
the
was
brightness
upstairs in like the actual castle house, whatever. It was just unnecessarily dark. And I went to like turn the brightness up, and I don't know if I turned it up and I hit circle instead of X or something, so it didn't save. I feel like it did nothing. I'm like, this is too freaking dark.
Yeah.
I mean, the dark parts were too dark. Where the parts that was supposed to be light, it looked fine. There were parts I'm like, this doesn't even seem realistic. It doesn't seem realistically dark. I get it's all candlelight, but there would be... This just looks black in front of me. Like, there would be some kind of ambient light. Give me something here. But
see, I don't get it because I've had HDR on in my other games. I know I've got the right cables.
I feel like when I started it, I want to say it prompted me, like specifically, like, do you want to play with HDR?
It didn't ask me that. It asked me to adjust the brightness, and I always turned it up. They're like, make it so it's barely visible. I'm like,
nah,
no,
I want it to be.
I want it a little
visible.
bit brighter, especially in a game like this. Thank you very much. So I don't know. That was so weird. It made me start doubting. But I'm like, I've had HDR in other games. It's got to be something with the demo. And maybe if I went back and played it again, it would work. I don't know. But I thought that was weird. I thought it was a cool demo. Scary as hell. The dead lady down. I'm like, okay, there's a dead lady. Can't do anything. Walk over here.
Did she move?
Then I go back and she's just lying on the ground.
Okay.
Because at one point
when I saw her, I'm like,
something.
I don't remember her being on her.
No, she was sitting up, and
yeah.
then there's the bolt cutters. Yeah. It's super freaky. And then all the and then the hand coming out of the barrel full of blood. Did you see that?
I don't even know if I saw that.
When you walk into, I think like the first dining area you get to, when you go up the ladder and then you walk into the actual mansion, castle, whatever, there's a barrel sitting there and it's like dripping blood and there's a hand sticking out and it's kind of like, it's kind of moving a little bit.
I don't
like
think
the
I saw
person's
that.
just barely alive. Whoa. This game's going to scare the crap out of me. I hope if it is more action focused that they give us enough... Survival horror, you want to be horrified and feel like you are trying to survive. I get all that. But if this is going to be super action focused, which some of those little shots that we get in the trailer, seems like there's going to be a lot of enemies coming at you, kind of like the end of 7. Give us enough ammo. Oh, and also they still showed what's-his-face? Chris. I don't believe that he's the bad guy.
There's no way.
I mean, I know Wesker started out as a good guy, but he was a bad guy by the end of that game. It's not like Chris would all of a sudden go bad. I'm really interested in the story for this one. But then his DLC for 7 was called Not a Hero, so I don't know. And I never played that, so I don't know what happens in it.
I did, but I don't really remember. Yeah. I just know it's like... But it didn't even feel like Resident Evil.
And I don't want this to be like that when I say more action
I hope
focused.
not.
No. I don't want it to be like RE6. They did say that they called this a visual demo for a reason. It's really just to show it off. I thought it looked really good. I was not raving about it like other people, though. I was like... It looks good. It looks better than 7 for sure. Because I can remember 7, I would like look over here and then a branch. I'd see a branch and I'd walk past it and it's just like a straight
flat.
line. I'm like, it's gone now. It was weird.
Yeah.
But I thought it looked really good. But there will be a Meteor gameplay, not a meteor. Meteor gameplay demo coming in the near future, and that'll be available on everything. If you don't have a PS5, I mean, we just spoiled it for you, but whatever. Oh, we didn't even say what happens at the end. I knew she was going to be there when I opened the door. But
I didn't know. I knew that was pretty much the end. It still caught me off guard. But I'm like, I know I'm almost at the end. But I'm like, that's how this is going to end.
Yeah.
We haven't seen her yet.
It's going to be welcome to the family.
Exactly. Yeah.
But then when she goes, Fink, I was like, oh, I did not expect that. You were going to be Lady. But what's her name in X-Men? Lady from X-Men X2 United and the comics and everything. What the hell's her name? Stryker's girl. like female Wolverine. She goes,
Yeah.
Freak. Is she Lady Striker? Lady
Gaga. I don't know.
It's not Domino. That's what's it? That's Deadpool.
That's
right?
Deadpool. I'll look it up.
While Sean looks that up, one more piece of Resident Evil news. It is now being reported that the team that was behind the RE3 remake is pretty much being pulled off of the RE4 remake, and it's kind of being rebooted. I guess Capcom was not super happy, although they said there was reports this week that they were super happy with how it did, how RE3 remake did digitally. But RE4 Remake is now reportedly not coming out until 2023 instead of 22.
I don't like that.
They're going through a soft reboot. I don't like that at all. I was really counting on this game this year and then 4 Remake next year. Maybe it can still come out late next year. I don't know. It's obviously the perfect Halloween game. Deathstrike. I was saying Lady Striker. I was close. No, not really. I got Strike right, but yeah, I don't like that. It's probably true. RE3 was fine. It was my number 10. I think it was your number 9 or 8. It was fine. Nowhere near as good as 2 Remake, but
it was a great remake. It was just a great remake of a
okay game.
Yeah.
So that's it. Hopefully RE4 will be out sooner than that, but you never know. A new patent, Sean, may point to some new technology for the unannounced GTA 6, and this comes from VGC. A new patent by Rockstar... Did I say that right? Yeah, patent by Rockstar Games programmers could point towards significant improvements to how NPCs navigate open-world games such as GTA 6. The patent for, quote, a method for virtual navigation in a gaming environment, end quote, spotted by a Reddit user, was filed in October by Rockstar parent Take-Two. While the patent... Why is that hard to say? While the patent is linked to Take-Two and makes no reference to a specific game, it's credited as having been invented by Rockstar Norse tech director David Hind, Hynd, and AI lead Simon Parr, which suggests it could be related to the studio's next game, which is understood to be GTA 6. Yeah, no kidding. The patents documents describe a system that deals with non-player navigation around a virtual environment, including making the navigation and behaviors of computer characters more realistic. Quote, conventional systems only provide limited resources for automating NPCs. For example, processing power, memory, and efficiency only allow for a predetermined number of NPC-controlled cars in any single instance of a conventional system. However, players of a video game would expect to see more than a predetermined number of NPC-controlled cars in a video game for a realistic experience. In conventional systems, NPCs are often grouped by characteristics and perform the same motions. In fact, some NPCs of conventional systems fade out of existence as the player approaches the NPC. End quote. Basically, the patent describes how NPCs in conventional games can only detect very late when they're about to collide with an object and have no high-level knowledge of how to deal with the roadblocks or similar instructions. The new system described in the patent will result in more believable navigation for NPC characters, it says, with computer players able to detect the type of road they're on and to act differently depending on the circumstances. This comes after there was other reports of this. There was these reports going around that GTA 6 might have some kind of like a shared world thing. Not really like it would be a multiplayer, not like GTA 6 will be GTA Online, but that it will exist in some kind of a shared world. And that would make sense with this, because you're talking cloud computing and everything like that. I think it sounds really cool if it can make more NPCs appear and make them appear more realistically and behave realistically, instead of just like walking around and they bump into you and they're like, whatever. And then you pull a gun, but they don't care. As long as you don't shoot or look at them, they don't really care. Like if you just pull out a gun walking down the street and people are there, and they can see you, they're not going to wait until you pointed at them to go and run away. So I don't know. It's a slow news week, so I wanted to bring this up.
I mean, it could be cool. I'm trying to think of how it could really be, like how it can affect the game. Like when I just think of, more realistic AI for NPCs, I'm like, okay. So instead of seeing this guy just walk down the sidewalk, you may see him stop and say hi to somebody, or like get into a cab. Like, I mean,
more
okay,
immersive. Yeah.
I guess, but I don't know. If nothing else, it just makes me feel more. I mean, not that I'm GTA 6 is obviously coming.
Yeah.
This doesn't really further that, but it's just good. Any Rockstar news is good news, I guess, because it means GTA 6 is that much closer.
And of course, everybody was mining that one thing in a map in Virginia or some that points it could take.
VI.
Yeah, and the other thing that was like last week that we didn't talk about was also like there was some mention of when it comes to this reported shared world GTA 6 about different locations. So,
yeah,
whatever it is, it's gonna be awesome.
Yes.
And last up for the news this week, Sean, we got NPD results for 2020. And for December 2020. December's all, you know what I'm trying to say. I just said it the wrong way. For December, guess what the number one selling game was?
Call of Duty.
That is correct. Black Ops Cold War hit number one in December. Number two, y'all suck. Cyberpunk 2077.
Wow.
Not even counting digital sales. And I saw a report that it was the biggest digital launch of any game ever, even when you factor in refunds and stuff.
Wow.
Number 3 was Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Number 4, Spider-Man Miles Morales. Number 5, Madden 21. Number 6, Animal Crossing. Number 7, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. That continues to... I guess these people, they're buying their Switch so they can play Animal Crossing. Family-friendly game. What else should we buy?
We need
Mario
something
Kart.
else. Yeah, let's get Mario Kart.
Number 8, NBA 2K21. Number 9, Immortals Phoenix Rising. Good to see it hanging on there in the top 10. Probably because they discounted it. And then number 10, Mario 3D All-Stars. Y'all trying to buy it before it goes out of stock forever.
Wow. You can have mine.
Yeah. I spent $60, but I love Galaxy, so whatever. I would have spent $60 when it came out originally, so I'm okay with it. 2020 total year software sales. Number 1, also, of course, Sean, Black Ops Cold War. This is now 12 years in a row that a Call of Duty game has been the best-selling video game.
That is crazy.
You know what number 2 was?
What?
Modern Warfare.
I don't know.
Number 3, Animal Crossing, but that doesn't even count digital sales because Nintendo doesn't release those. My guess, I don't think it was number 1, but I'm guessing it probably beat Modern Warfare.
Probably.
Number 4, Madden 21. Number 5, Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Impressive. Number 6, Last of Us Part 2. Narrowly edging out Ghost of Tsushima. And number 7. Number 8, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Number 9, Mario 3D All-Stars.
Wow.
And number 10, Final Fantasy VII Remake, our game of the year. Way too low. I think we're going to hear a lot of stuff on that here pretty soon as the 1-year exclusivity comes up. I'm hoping for a PS5 patch like we talked about in Game of the Year. I want to go back and play it again. December, we also had a record spending amount of $7.7 billion. This is all just in the U.S. $7.7 billion spent on video games in December, 25% higher than last year. 2020 overall video game spending in the U.S., $56.9 billion, up 27% over 2019. Switch was the best-selling console in December and for all of 2020 in both units and dollars sold.
I mean, I believe it.
Animal Crossing. And everybody knew there was new PlayStations and Xboxes.
Yeah.
Switch had the second best year in dollar sales ever, behind the Nintendo Wii in 2008.
Good.
PS5, this is surprising to me, second best in console sales when it comes to total dollars in 2020. So even though nobody could buy them, they were still number 2. But I guess when every one you sell is $200 more than a Switch, or $100 if you got the digital, but they only made like 5 of those. Number 2 when it comes to units sold in 2020 was the PS4, going out on a high note.
Wow.
It just boggles my mind that the Call of Duty just prints money. I forgot I even had it. I was thinking about what should I play after I beat Redacted. I was going there, I was like, oh God, I forgot I have Call of Duty. I never beat that. And it's taking up like 180 gigs on my hard drive.
I don't get it.
That's going to have to go pretty quickly. But yeah, that's NPD for 2020 and for December. And now it is time for the wrap up. Sean, Takayuki Imamura, who is an artist and designer at Nintendo for the last 32 years, is retiring. He helped create Captain Falcon,
Punch!
Fox McCloud, and Majora's Mask. Sony Santa Monica has revealed in a job listing that they are working on a second PS5 game. Two things that makes me think of. One, maybe God of War actually is coming out this year, that they're wrapping that up. I'm not getting my hopes up. I think it's going to be March or April next year, but you never know. But two, Cory Barlog forever was like all this space stuff and everything. And remember, they had a sci-fi game that got canceled after God of War Ascension was so poorly received. After like 3 years, they canceled it, and then they did God of War 2018. So maybe they're going back to that. I don't know. But they've got another PS5 game in development. Obviously, it's not God of War 3 before they even finish 2, but
maybe.
Ragnarok, whatever it's going to be called. Valhalla. Imagine if they called it God of War Valhalla. Like, that wouldn't be confusing. Guerrilla is slowing down patches for Horizon Zero Dawn on the PC as they get ready for the release of Horizon Forbidden West. Thank you. The game is 4 years old. Let's focus on the new one. Y'all want to play it on PC? You should have got a PS4. You could play it on PS4 Remote Play or PS4, what's it called? PS Now. Anyways, before that. So whatever. PUBG 2 could be coming out next year, it looks like, according to reports, with a mobile version coming out this year. I don't know why you would do a PUBG 2. There's never going to be a Fortnite 2. There's never going to be a Minecraft 2. I don't get it.
Unless it's drastically different somehow that...
Yeah,
I don't know.
Then it's not PUBG. Battlefield 6 is rumored to be a cross-gen reboot, targeting 128 players out later this year, speaking of shooters. Balan Wonderland is getting a demo on January 28th. This is the new 3D platformer from one of the co-creators of Sonic. And because there's a demo, I will play that. I want to see what
I'll check it out. Yeah.
Oceanhorn 2 was just announced today, is coming to current gen consoles. There's no date yet. If I'm going to play it, I'm going to play it on my PlayStation. I don't want to play it on Switch or on this.
Yeah, the first one was a reasonable platinum. May have been I think it was the first one I got. I think I got that before I even got Batman. I just didn't like the fishing.
Yeah. Oh, God. The ghost fish.
Yep.
So I'm going to keep my eye on that. Kingdom of it says Amalur. I think the game is Amalur. Kingdoms of Amalur Re-Reckoning is coming to Switch March 16th. It was also rumored this week that Apple's launching its own VR headset next year, but it will be very expensive. Yeah, no kidding. Everything they do is. Games with Gold was announced for February. They also announced that they were increasing the price of Xbox Live Gold to $120 per year. Current subs will be grandfathered in. But wait, never mind. Sorry, guys. They really thought they could double the price and everybody would be like, okay. Stupid Xbox. But the games this month are pretty good for them. We don't have PS Plus yet. We'll have that for next week's episode. Those games are Gears 5, Resident Evil, the quote-unquote, the remake, but not really a remake. And then the fantastic Dandara Trials of Fear.
Can't wait for that.
This next one's interesting. Indiana Jones and the Emperor's Tomb. Can't imagine why. It's going to be an exclusive, and it's going to make me mad. And then Lost Planet 2. Just with Gears 5, Resident Evil, and Lost Planet 2 from back in the day.
Yeah, the PlayStation's got its work cut out for it.
Yep. So we know we're getting, what's it called, Destruction All-Stars, but we don't know what else. But yeah, I said this last month, and then PlayStation 1.
I forgot one.
Oh, did you play Maneater?
It's terrible.
Oh, really?
I do not... It's so hard to control and, attack. You're trying to, there's a little fish.
That's what Colin was saying.
It's terrible. I'm I think I can... At first, I didn't really like it. I'm I think I can suffer through it to get the platinum. Because the platinum didn't seem that bad. It just wasn't fun. It was terrible to control. And
that stinks.
It's just eat this many fish. Yeah. And then, I don't know. And I'm sure, obviously, it gets better. I know the game isn't just eating fish, but
Now you got to eat people.
It was, I don't know. I did not care for it. I've already deleted it.
Really?
Yeah. It's no bueno.
No bueno. Okay. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for being here for episode 217. As always, you can find us at nerd901.com, where they are connecting nerds across the Mid-South and the multiverse. You can find us also on Twitter. I'm at KevinWhite24. He's at Real Sean White. What are you doing?
Your slipper was getting in my way.
They stink, too. I got to get rid of them.
Do.
At Real Sean White, together at 2player_. That was nice. Except you didn't move. You just kept that over
well,
here.
because I was trying to just stay still, and I moved, but then the chair didn't move, so I ended up just leaning back.
Lean back. YouTube, Twitter, all those things. Just like, subscribe, share. Thank you guys so much for being here for episode 217. I'm glad I survived my weekend underwater. We'll be back next week, but until that time, Sean, go and take us out.
Thank you for playing.